Hey you guys, it's Crystal from the Abundantly Blessed Homestead, where we use the wisdom of our ancestors to make amazing, nourishing, delicious meals for our family and grow some of our own food. This is going to be video number 1 to our pregnancy series, shall we call it, for those of you who are interested. I know some of you guys aren't going to be interested, and that's totally fine. Today we're going to be discussing pre-pregnancy diet and pregnancy diet for a healthy baby. What you eat before your pregnancy is just as important as what you eat during your pregnancy. This is mainly because the nutrient stores that you have on board before you get pregnant is what is going to be feeding that little baby in the yolk sac as the placenta is attaching to your uterus in the first trimester. So it's really important that the things that you put in your body before you get pregnant are good ones. So obviously, eating nutrient-dense foods like we discussed here on the channel, all the meals up here on the channel are all nutrient-dense. That's very, very important. Avoiding genetically modified foods are very, very important. And if you don't have this book yet, that's very, very important as well. This is the Nourishing Traditions book of baby and child care by Sally Fallon and Dr. Thomas Cowan. This is important because it's going to discuss everything you need to know, including common childhood illnesses. Takes the fear out of those, talks about different conditions, like for instance this chapter is about the ear, nose, and throat, just ailments, and can walk you through all that. But it also covers having a healthy pregnancy. It discusses all of the tests that you're going to be offered while you're pregnant and after you're pregnant, and what the risks are of those tests so that you can make an educated decision for yourself. It also talks about healthy pregnancy, some of the things to consider in pregnancy, and all things to eat during pregnancy. This is the long list, and I'm just going to go over it real quick, of the things that you should be eating to have a nutrient-dense diet, both before you get pregnant and after you get pregnant. So first, I'm going to say there are some people who are perfectly okay with not taking prenatal vitamins, because if you get enough nutrition through your food, technically you shouldn't need them. I'm of the opinion that I can't do that. I'm going to read off the list of foods that you should be eating to accomplish skipping the prenatals. But for me, I don't eat that way all the time. There are days where I don't eat in a whole week 2 to 4 ounces of fresh liver. I don't like seafood. That's on the list. So there are just some deficiencies there in my personal diet, my personal taste preference, that I want to do a prenatal. So I've done a prenatal with all the other 5 babies, and I did a prenatal this time. I had a little bit of a hiccup this time. We'll go over that in just a little bit. So let's go over the food items first. So the first item that you should be on before and during pregnancy, and even after pregnancy, is fermented cod liver oil. So this is made by Green Pastures. I was already on this because I was healing my cavities in my mouth. But this is fermented cod liver oil with butter oil. And you should be taking this every day. This is a source of vitamin A and D in the perfect amounts. Very important. The next thing you should be consuming is 4 cups of RAW milk. I have to spell it, guys, because my videos have taken a couple of hits because I keep saying that word. So RAW milk is very, very important, along with 5 to 6 ounces of raw cheese. If you don't know where to find that particular special kind of milk, you can get on realmilk.com and type in your area, and it'll show you who's around you. You can also get on westonaprice.org and look up your local chapter that's closest to you, and they'll have a resource list of where to get that particular type of milk. The next item on the list is pastured healthy eggs from healthy chickens that have been outside in the sunshine producing amazingly nutrient-dense eggs. Also sneaking things like raw egg yolks from those same healthy chickens into different things like custards and ice cream. Those are nutrient-dense items that should be in your diet. 4 tablespoons of butter or ghee every day. You can put it on top of vegetables. It's rather easy to get butter into your diet. Also, as I mentioned before, 2 to 4 ounces of fresh liver. This is per week. It could be things like chicken liver, beef liver, goose liver, any type of liver, as long as it comes from a healthy, happy animal that's lived out their best life and is not in some sort of a confined disgusting situation. You want a healthy liver. The next item is where I fall short, which is the seafood. Eating seafood 2 to 4 times a week, I just don't do. I don't like the taste of fish in general, or crab, any of those sort of things. So I don't meet that goal on this list at all. Okay, so healthy meats such as beef, pork, chicken, anything that's a healthy animal that's been raised the healthy way and not in confinement, out in the sunshine, being the animals that God created them before they were butchered. Those we want to be consuming on a regular basis. It's a good source of cholesterol, and your body needs cholesterol when it's producing hormones. And when you're pregnant, especially into the first trimester, your body's going to be producing a massive amount of hormones, and that demand for cholesterol is so much more high than in a typical scenario. The next item on the list is oily fish or lard daily. If you guys have been watching my channel for any amount of time, you guys know I love my lard. I use it all the time for cooking, so I can check that one off the list. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. You can either melt it and into some water, or if you drink coffee or tea, take it on a spoon. Just need to get that extra fat in, the extra 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Also, making sure you're consuming lacto-fermented vegetables and or condiments. Also like fermented things like sauerkraut, kimchi, all these items, they help your body to boost the stomach acid in your stomach, which helps to break down all the fatty foods that you're going to be eating that are full of cholesterol. It also helps to reduce things like morning sickness. So super important that you're on lacto-fermented and fermented foods. Fermented foods are just chock full of probiotics, which is good for you and baby, and good for you before pregnancy even starts. A lot of people in this world, up to 90% in America specifically, have low stomach acid. So one of the things that's prescribed in the first trimester for morning sickness is vitamin B6. Your body can't utilize vitamin B6 or vitamin B's in general with low stomach acid. So you can see how important it is that we're making sure that we're consuming lacto-fermented and fermented vegetables and other foods, things like milk kefir, in your diet at a regular interval when you are pregnant. Another really important thing is to drink bone broth. This is kind of a no-brainer. Once it comes out of my mouth, you guys already know what I'm about to say, which is the body's going to use those nutrients for your bones and the baby's bones and ligaments. Very, very important. Also, eating properly prepared grains, which I know we talk about that here on the channel. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys get the point there. Also, unrefined salt, we talk about that. Eating plenty of fruits and vegetables that are nice and fresh, full of lots of nutrients. So that's the list out of this book. It also has a bunch of things to avoid at the bottom. And then I'm going to go ahead and go over the supplements that I took. So like I said, I'm always on this. The whole family is fermented cod liver oil with butter oil. That's a regular thing in our family. So is iodine. I typically take a pill form. Right now I'm out of the pill form. It's supposed to come tomorrow in the mail. It's called Iodoral, 12.5 milligrams of iodine. This is a drop form. It's called Lugol's solution. I will say if you are not currently on iodine, it is not something to just start on. You really need to educate yourself because you can hit a rapid detox that can create quite an unhappy scenario for your body and yourself, much worse than the keto flu even. And so I would encourage you to look into the Iodine Crisis by Lynn Farrow. Learn all about iodine and how to safely incorporate it into your diet, into your lifestyle before you get pregnant, okay? So iodine, I've been taking iodine. So we take liver capsules. This is by Perfect Supplements. I love this company. You can also buy them from radiantlife.com. They sell their own brand of liver capsules. I basically take these instead of eating the 2 to 4 ounces of liver. So I was taking approximately 12 capsules a day of beef liver. It also comes in a powder, so you can mix it into smoothies and stuff. But anyway, you could if you wanted to. My husband does that every morning. I would rather swallow it in a pill though. The next thing that is not necessarily pregnancy related, I take this all the time, but is vitamin E. I take this because I have the start of like spider veins, And so my naturopath said to try vitamin E. So I'm just taking the vitamin E for now to see if it works. If not, I'm going to look further into the link between spider veins and the liver. And so that's my next step if this doesn't help. The other thing that I've started taking while pregnant is emu oil. Emu oil is incredibly high in vitamin K2, MK4, which is basically the nutrient, the mystery activator X vitamin that Dr. Weston A. Price discovered was the key to health. It pretty much unlocks all the other nutrients for your body. I started taking this because you can get vitamin K2 out of a lot of food forms that we've already discussed and from cod liver oil with butter oil. But because I have cavities and because every time I'm pregnant my teeth start to hurt, I decided that I needed more vitamin K2. I was just going to give it a try, and let me tell you guys, it's making a world of a difference. Just 3 days ago, I just noticed my teeth were starting to get sensitive over like tomato products, just acidic things in general, and I didn't like the way that felt. And so I went ahead and started on some emu oil, and that's gone completely. I love this stuff. It's working out so well. So I've been taking this. You can order this on radiantlifecatalog.com. It's $60 a bottle, and this is 60 servings. Okay, so let's talk really quick, you guys, about prenatals. This is very important. I've taken prenatals with all 5 of my other children, and my last baby was born with tongue tie, which that's an entire different video. You can look into that, but it's basically a gene mutation, the MTHFR gene mutation that causes that. It's the same mutation that causes cleft palate. And what it is the inability to process folate, especially folic acid, which a lot of prenatal vitamins have folic acid. There's a large majority of us that have this gene mutation, and because of that, we don't get enough of folate during our pregnancies. It can cause issues with the baby when the baby is born, like lip tie and tongue tie and cleft palate. So this time around, I thought I would try a new food-based vitamin. The most important thing that you can do is, if you're in this nutrient-dense world and you're eating nutrient-dense food, is select a prenatal vitamin that is based on food, 100% food-based. Not food that's been dissected in a lab and taken certain parts out, but actual food-based vitamin. This says pure food right on the front. It's made by Whole Earth NC, Women's Prenatal. I started on this stuff, and basically this has a form of folate called methylfolate. Methylfolate is supposed to be easier for those of us with MTHFR issues. It's supposed to be a fast way to get the folate you need to skip over those birth defects. Unfortunately for me, I learned the hard way that I was actually sensitive to methylfolate. The problem is that the symptoms for methylfolate sensitivity are really similar to morning sickness. So my morning sickness went through the roof, couldn't get anything under control, spent the entire day in bed, was just completely knocked flat basically. That turned into having anxiety attacks, having severe irritability, having rashes start appearing on my body, having insomnia. It was just a whole list of not fun things, and I just thought maybe this was a really rough pregnancy into the first trimester, but it turns out I was sensitive to methylfolate. So what I would suggest is, if you're planning on taking a prenatal vitamin and you're trying to get pregnant, or you know you're going to be getting pregnant, start on a prenatal right now and make sure you're not allergic to the methylfolate in it, okay? So what I ended up doing was switching back to this brand, which I'm not completely happy with, you guys. Yes, I know Nestle owns Garden of Life. I get it. This is the only prenatal that I can take that does not make me sick. All the other food-based prenatals have switched over to the methylfolate, which I am allergic to. So I'm taking this for now. I might eventually switch over to just doing what I was doing in the beginning, which was skipping the prenatal altogether and doing liver and nutrient-dense foods. But like I said, that makes me a little uncomfortable because I am not eating everything on the list, like seafood, etc. So that's why I lean back on the prenatal when I'm pregnant. But this is a great brand, other than the fact that Nestle owns it. It doesn't have any of the methylfolate in it, which I really appreciate. So one more thing that I wanted to mention was the different trimesters and the difference, okay? So in your first trimester, your insulin actually triples. which allows for you to eat more often and eat quick carbs to help balance out your blood sugar without having such an issue. You have to have the insulin on board in order to handle those carbs. But it's very important to note that studies have shown that after the first trimester, your insulin actually just falls out. I mean, it just rock bottoms out. That's very important to note because a lot of people get diagnosed with gestational diabetes in the third trimester. So I'd really encourage you guys to go more low carb in your second and third trimesters. I'm going to choose to do that this time to see if it helps because I have had blood sugar issues in the past. Just enough for them to send me in for the lab work for the 3-hour test, but then it turned out I didn't have it. So I also know that my body does better on a low carb diet. So that's just something I'm going to be doing. So my first trimester looked something like this. I had like keto fat bombs, but they weren't keto because I used honey. Okay, I didn't use artificial sweeteners, but fat bombs inside my freezer. I had almond crackers. I had raw milk. I had raw milk kefir. I had raw cheese, and I just made sure I was eating about every hour and a half, just little amounts of those things. That helps to balance out, well, at least it helped to balance out my blood sugar. Also avoiding things like Prego Pops, any of those sort of suck in your mouth sort of pregnancy nausea remedies. You have to be really, really careful of those because they have sugar in them. So you're going to be on a roller coaster with your blood sugar. So they'll boost you up, you'll feel really, really good, and then you'll start coming down and you'll have to take another one. It's just a lot of sugar, so just keep that in mind. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.